Okay. So when we left off, Galen and Aurelius were heading to the Queen's Council, which is across town closer to the lake. And so it's going to be a bit of a walk there. And if you would like to talk to Aurelius on the way, you have as much opportunity as you'd like.
Right off the bat, Galen's trying to sort in his head what's happening and how he's supposed to deal with these things, because all of these make him feel particularly uncomfortable. But they're very near the tavern, is that right?
Yes, when you're setting off, you're close to the Unicorn Tail Inn.
So Galen will say, I need one moment. Would you join me in the tavern? I'll buy you a drink.
I don't drink, but thank you. I will wait here for you.
Thank you, noble gem Aurelius. I will be right back. Galen will go in to the tavern and plunk his flask on the counter and say, "Noble barkeep, please fill this with something, anything strong."
That'll be 2 gold, please.
Thank you very much, and I'll also have a double.
All right, then.
Galen will slam the double back, cap the flask, and head back out to Aurelius.
Okay.
Thank you for waiting. Shall we head on our way?
Absolutely. Follow me. And so he starts making his way through the winding streets of Velshonie.
I saw you last night in the tavern.
Yes, making my rounds. It's part of the job. I'm often on the lookout for miscreants amongst the refugees, and I did find one. I dealt with her today.
Oh, and that large orc fellow, was he also trouble?
Not that I'm aware of, no. He's always been friendly to the elves. I was actually rather pleased to see that he had come to Velshonie when trouble broke out outside.
Did you have any trouble dealing with this miscreant?
Some, but I would expect no less from such evildoers.
Yes, I suppose it seems there is more evil within these walls than anyone could have predicted.
Well, I told them that I should be stationed at the North Gate at all times to see every newcomer who comes into the city. But unfortunately, I do get called away from time to time. There are still problems in the city that need a paladin's touch.
I assume you are a paladin of Coralon.
Yes, indeed. And he taps his chest and shows off the quarter moon symbol of Coralon.
It is good to see that they are still with power.
Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be?
Well, the other faiths have been failing. Have you not noticed?
We don't tend to have many other faiths here in Velshonie. There have been refugees who have been grumbling about not hearing from their gods, but that's their problem, not ours. Coralon has never failed us.
Yet.
I have no reason to expect that he ever will.
I hope not. I sincerely do.
It is good to speak with a hero after dealing with refugees and transients. It's good to have someone who's on the up and up, looking out for others and the best interest of the city.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Fight evil where you find it. And Galen will take a swig of his flask.
Well, I should hope that you won't find any more evil within the walls of this city. I will continue to make my rounds once I've dropped you off at the Queen's Council and take another look around, and I'll probably head up to the Temple of Coralon, which isn't far from the Queen's Council, and see if I can recruit some other people to help me out. I know the healers are busy healing those who come into the city, but we can't chance something as heinous as that undead pulling off some evil scheme.
Yes, absolutely. If they have already breached your walls, then there is no knowing for sure what is at foot. This undead that I fought last night, I'm reasonably certain that they must be a lieutenant of this lich that is making his way this way.
I've heard reports from the guards at the South Gate. Is that the way you came in?
Yes, that is.
Ah, so you're the one who reported the lich. Well, we've put the wizards in the Tower of Arcane Majesty on alert. They've sent a few of their apprentices out to keep an eye out, and they will send a message back to the tower if this lich dares to show his face at our walls.
Well, that's good. And if there is an opportunity to destroy him, I would love to be part of that. I owe him.
I'll keep that in mind if I happen to be part of the battle. I don't expect I will be. This is more of a wizard thing by the sounds of it, but should that lich set foot in Velshonie, you can bet that I'll be there.
Yes, men such as ourselves tend to deal with things more practically than the wizards do. But if they can do away with the lich, then that would be great.
There are a few practical wizards. High Wizard Belinaria is quite the powerful flamethrower, and doesn't have much patience for politics and the more bookish of the wizards. I get along with her quite well.
Did you say Gem Belinaria?
Yes.
Okay, just double checking. That is not the same name as Beliniera, right?
No, this is starting with a B, not a V.
Oh, okay. Because otherwise I have news for him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will keep my eyes open then. I do tend to like to deal with people that are more practical than political.
Well, then you're really going to dislike where I'm bringing you, because they're all about politics.
Yes, you are correct. I am not particularly looking forward to it.
Well, sorry to disappoint you, but here we are. And he points to not an overly large building, but it is exquisite. It is crafted in the ancient ways. So instead of tall spires reaching up to the sky, it's more of a rounded building with, you don't see any sharp corners to it at all. And he brings you to the front door where it's also rounded, and the rich, deep brown wood is surrounded by gold bracings around the door and hinges. And he pulls out from behind his cloak a very familiar warhammer and clunks it on the door.
Gaelen will make note of it, but not try to gawk at it.
Okay. It's not long before the door swings open, and there's a young elf maid who answers the door and says, "Yes, what can I do for you?"
My name is Gaelen. Have been requested to come here, speak to the council.
Very good. Follow me. And at this, Aurelius says, "Best of luck to you, Gaelen. I'm off." And he turns to head towards the temple.
Good hunting, Gem Paladin.
And the young elf maid brings you into the building, and it is a single chamber inside that is quite large, well lit with gold and silver chandelier hanging from the center of the domed ceiling. With the ceiling is also a spider web type pattern through the stone, and you couldn't see it from the outside. The glass must be tinted. There is a great deal of glasswork overhead that allows natural sunlight into the building. And before you, you see two elves sitting at a table, and you can tell me how you feel as Carmen Elmthorn looks at you with some surprise.
Okay, hang on. And the other elf, I don't know.
Probably not, no.
So looking at me with surprise, like there's just there's an instant recognition. I'm not pulling anything off here.
Nope. Despite your physical changes over the years, he still recognizes you.
I will approach the two, and he'll say, "I am Gaelen. I've been requested."
By the time you approach them and speak, your father's face has settled, and there's no longer the look of surprise there. He looks at you as he might look at a stranger. There's no outward emotion. He says, "Ah, and you must be the hero we've heard so much about that has been sent before us to discuss your prize from our queen."
That is how it has been described to me as well.
The other elf stands and holds out a hand to gently shake yours and says, "Greetings, I am Lotinius Starshine, counsel to the queen herself. And this is Carmen Elmthorn, the other counselor to the queen."
So Galen doesn't tend to look directly at Carmen. Gem Lutinius, it is a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. So grand to have another elven hero in Velshonie. Yes, yes, we've heard all about your grand adventure against the undead fiend that was building some sort of corpse monster under the tattooist's parlor. Oh, what a horror it must have been. Yes, well, Carmen here is quite the bard, so he will want to hear every detail so he can create a fabulous telling of your tale before the queen at your ceremony.
I'd like to be clear. I don't fancy myself a hero. I fought for my life for a matter of 18 seconds, and I won.
Indeed, only 18 seconds it took you to take down such a terrible beast. That is impressive work, impressive indeed. And you know, between you and I, the city needs tales of heroism over the undead these days. Helps bolster morale amongst the people.
Oh, Coralon. I suppose good news makes people feel better.
Yes, that's the spirit. There has been quite a bit of rumbling around the city since we've been opening the gates to the refugees. It's not. Well, it's just unusual to have the city so full. We've been suffering a slight decline in population over the years. Well, we had those empty buildings doing nothing anyway. Might as well put some people up in them and do a good deed, as they say.
And if I do say so, I think that some diversity would do Velshonie well.
Well, that remains to be seen. Not everybody agrees with you on that, but I have had some very interesting conversations with other wizards and spellcasters of the sort from outside of the city walls, and it has been most enlightening. So, for my part, I have been enjoying it quite a bit.
I have not been back to Velshonie for 24 hours yet. I'm sure I'll enjoy it eventually.
Now, Gaelen, no need to be so dour. You can enjoy the city right now if you so wished.
I'm sure that Velshonie will leave its mark on me yet again, but I'll be moving along soon.
Indeed. Not before you've had the chance to visit your mother, I hope.
Of course not.
That's a good son. So, Gaelen, could you please regale us with the tale of your epic victory over this undead fiend?
All right. But one of the things I'm most uncomfortable about is that I'm being called a hero as if I am alone, and I am not. No fortress is held by a single pillar, and no elf is an island unto himself. My kin and their strengths are what allow me to perform my duties to the level which I do. I may tend to strike an enemy quickest and most often, but it is the powerful blows of my kin, like Kin Skippy, and the sturdy shield and healing of Kin Grun that allow me to perform in such a way that would, without them, be overextending myself and ultimately suicide. I was alone in this circumstance, but this fate chose me, and had fortune leaned but a sliver in the Death Stitcher's favor, I can assure you we would not be speaking right now. My kin are as much responsible for my victories as I am theirs. We do not destroy evil for accolades. We do so for survival, our own survival, and for the survival of all those who would live in peace.
Oh, that is quite excellent. The true words of a hero. It fills my heart to hear you speak. Perhaps we would not even need old Carmen here. After all, perhaps you could speak on your own before the Queen. Oh, no, of course not, Carmen, of course not. I see you glaring at me there. Of course it is his duty to speak before the Queen, and I understand that you do not fight for accolades, and yet they have found you. Well, I understand that your friends, kin you call them, an interesting choice of words. Tell me, are they elves as well?
No, they are not. I travel with several small folk and a half-orc.
Interesting. Tell me, were they refugees to the city as well? Did you meet them here in Velshonie, or have you been traveling with them from far off lands?
The gnomes that I have most recently met that seem to have joined our cause, yes, we're refugees here, so the city is doing good work in that regard. The other two traveled with me quite some distance. Yes, we've traveled from Corthun that was overtaken by undead. See, my mission and that of my kin has been to safely escort our little halfling on his journey. A journey that began when he stole a precious book from the good people of Corthun's public library. It was good that he did so, at the behest of some dark bird witch or whatever named Noble Sarika, because moments later, an undead dragon destroyed the library looking for that book. We've traveled from there with a couple other comrades who have since abandoned their quest, from druid community to druid community. Along the way, we met the coward lich Noble Lucius, and with the help of Gem Elder Filarana, drove him off. Also, so far along our journey, we have dispatched at least 2 of the lich's lieutenants, and have learned some of an old race of beings called dwers.
I believe you mean dwarves. Yes.
Yes, I've never heard of them before, but they don't think highly of elves. We believe the book that we have in our possession is written in their tongue, and we anticipate from here we must seek some great elder druid in and around Thorbald's Deep. To this end, we request passage through the jungle.
Oh, a fascinating tale. Dwarves and liches and all manner of monsters with a grand quest to protect knowledge. Oh, it is the stuff of legend, and you are living it. I don't understand how you can contain yourself and not be more excited about it.
I am excited with the chance to face my enemies, but nothing more than that. I wish to complete my quest and be successful.
Yes, well, you won't find any enemies here, I assure you. And Carmen has been scribbling down notes as you've been talking. And he says, yes, well, I'm sure I have enough to go by, unless there's anything else you would like to add to this epic tale.
I think that is basically all the information that you would require.
Certainly. Now, and he rolls up the paper that he's been working on and ties it with a ribbon, filing it away. He pulls out another sheet and says, we are in a position to offer you several rewards. The Queen has a standard list for such heroics done in defense of the city, and you can peruse the list at your leisure and determine what best fits a noble monk such as yourself who has given up on so much that is physical.
Does he have a list?
He does, and he unrolls the paper and shows you a list. It has a variety of things that you can choose from. The first listed being a favor from Queen Yelena Highborn, and there is the ability to work with a well-respected trainer in the city for anything that you could wish to train for. There are titles. They could provide you with a knighthood that would give you a parcel of land, not in Velshonie itself, but an outlying area. They also provide a medal that is in the shape of the quarter moon of Corlin. And there is also a pouch of coins that comes with any of these. And yeah, that's pretty much the list.
Gaelen will read the list, wincing progressively as the things get more and more material. Elder Gem Kierman, these prizes would suit many adventurers, I'm sure. Most of them really aren't my thing, except I do appreciate self-improvement. Can I select a trainer for my friend Kingrun so that he may complete his training with land vehicles?
The two look at each other briefly, before Latinius looks back at you with a large smile and says, "Oh, you truly are a grand hero, thinking of the good of others above yourself. It is admirable. However, the tale of these deeds will revolve around you, as you are the one who saved the city. So we would prefer if you accepted a reward. Uh, is that going to be a problem?"
Gaelen will toss around the maybe if he tried to get a feeling from them if he really needed to accept something, or it would be a slight if he didn't.
Are you going to ask them outright, or are you doing kind of an insight check?
He was just going to start with just trying to get a feel for the room.
Okay. Insight?
Perhaps advantage because he's dealing with his father.
Sure. You get the sense that Lotinius would rather avoid any diplomatic snafus, including your companions who he is not interviewing for this, whereas your father is filled with disappointment that you are so unwilling to simply accept what is being given to you.
Gaelen will probably actually stare at Kierman for a while.
Latinius coughs gently to break the tension and says, "Well, perhaps this once we could include your companion as part of the tale somehow and portion off a bit of the accolades for him, and so that he may receive the training that you desire. We will need you to tell us more about, I'm sorry, what did you say his name was? Kingrun?
Yes.
Well, if you could tell us some more about him, then we could include him in the story so that he would receive one of the rewards. I would still leave one for you, which should suffice and not rankle too many in the upper echelons, you understand. Some people might prefer if all of the rewards went to a fine, upstanding elf such as yourself, but we can make do, I'm sure."
Well, I'm sure a bard as skilled as Elder Jem Kierman can dress up how important a healer is to a fighter, and Kingrun has kept me alive countless times.
Yes, I'm sure it won't be a problem to dress up this. I'm sorry, is he the gnome or the halfling or the orc?
He is a half-orc.
Very good. And he takes out another sheaf of paper and starts writing more notes.
What does the favor of a queen mean? Like, is it something I could accept but leave, I guess, sort of in the air?
Oh, yes, of course. These things are often more ceremonial than anything else. Most people are far too, especially one such as yourself, often too humble to accept the graces of our Queen Yelana. If you were to accept her gift of a favor and never use it, it would not be unheard of.
That sounds ideal. Perfect.
And your father goes to the other piece of paper that he had been working on and writes down that as well. Very good, very good. Is there anything else that you would like to add at this time?
Yeah, Galen's in his head right now.
Yep.
Elder Jem Kierman, would there be a good time for me to visit with my mother?
Oh, I'm sure she'd be willing to accept you any time you finally showed up at the door.
Still the same home?
Oh, no, we have received new dwellings closer to here. It's a much nicer, larger house in a better neighborhood, fit for one on the Queen's Council.
Congratulations on your position. I'm sure you are quite proud of it.
I am. Thank you.
Jem Latinius, what, do you need anything else of me?
Oh, I don't think so. I think you've given us more than enough to deal with here, and we will create a grand story. What I will need from you next is for you to show up at the Midnight Castle in a few hours' time. We'll hold the ceremony this evening as the sun is setting to cast just the perfect glow in the throne room.
You do actually paint that as sounding quite delightful. I will be happy to attend.
Well, we look forward to seeing you then and hearing the grand tale that Kerman puts together.
Oh, yes. That as well.
And Latinius waves forward the young elf maid and says, "Please be a dear and show our great hero out, and cannot wait for the ceremony tonight. It will lift the spirits of every elf in Velshonie."
Right. Yes. See you then, finger gun. Gaelen won't make it to the front door without taking another belt from his.
That's fair. So the elf maid opens the door for you and bows you out.
Good day, milady.
Fare thee well. So,
So Gaelen will stand on like the front steps and just shake off the heebie-jeebies. Probably take several minutes, just a meditation.
okay. So after his meditation, is there anything else that you wanted Gaelen to deal with on his own, or will you be returning to the party?
I see Gaelen spending probably heading back to the tavern and drinking more than you should in the middle of the day. Stopping with plenty of time to not be hammered when he goes to meet the queen.
That sounds good. You'll still be a little buzzed, but not falling over drunk.